Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today at your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio, radio, no pictures live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about some media articles from the pro-globalist, pro-mass migration, globalist controlled big media firms about the recent drowning of I don't know how many. I think it was 4 or 5 illegal aliens trying to get into Britain across the English Channel in a raft, assisted by the illegal operating people smugglers, by the illegal operating NGOs. So all that going on there, and while French authorities stand by and do nothing, to say, well, these people drowned. Sure, they're risky behaviour, but hey, they're third world peasants. They don't know any better. So by holding them to a standard where most people would consider sensible, reasonable, lower risk behaviour, we can't hold them to that standard. And if you want to hold them, or anybody wants to hold them to a higher standard behaviour, or even sensible behaviour or reasonable behaviour, then you're a Nazi if you do that. They are entitled to be held to a much, much, much lower standard of expectation, and anyone that thinks otherwise is Hitler. So the framing of the thing, well, these people have been driven to, they're desperate people trying to escape the most unspeakable horrors. They're trying to escape from these horrors, and so this is how desperate they are. No. Stop. Why are this being framed this way? So let's have a look at this. Now, the framing is that these are desperate people escaping the most horrendous oppression, which is untrue. That is a flat out lie. So they're in France and they've been there for many months, and they're not suffering any oppression or anything like that at all. So that's a flat out lie. Whether they were escaping oppression, that is up for some sort of debate. Some of them have come from countries that maybe were in civil war but are no longer. But most people are claiming boutique things like, well, I decided to become a Christian and everyone started oppressing me and that sort of stuff. But they've passed through several, if not 10 or 11, 12 countries to get to France. So this idea, I'm escaping oppression, no, you go to the first safe country you come to where that oppression that you're claiming is no longer taking place, and you stay there. That's where but this is not what's happening. So this idea that escaping horrendous oppression, which can only be solved by coming to France or Britain, that's a flat out lie. But so that's the next grotesque untruth that's been pushed in this, in all of them, in fact, all of the media articles to do with that. So then why are they staying in France for so long? I mean, gee whiz. Well, they're staying there because the globalist funded NGOs are paying them to stay there. They're giving them, tents, food, water, they're giving them toilets and showers and facilities and money to spend and mobile phones, and they're being supplied with all that. Now, would they stay if they had none of that, or if they knew before they even set out there is no way they'd get any of those handouts and freebies? Then of course they wouldn't even come. So their only reason they're coming, the magnet that draws them there, is all the free stuff that the NGOs are doing. Now, this is illegal behaviour because the NGOs are assisting illegal aliens here, but that somehow doesn't seem to get mentioned in the media articles. The NGOs are doing good by helping this illegality. The NGOs are doing good somehow. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of people that wouldn't agree with that. But again, you can't hold the NGOs to the stand because they're helping black and brown people, which means they must be good. And if you as a white person are pointing out the illegality of it, then you are Hitler. Hitler maybe twice or 3 times over. So then it goes on. The article goes on to say, well, the French police are there on the beaches where these illegals are trying to jump on the rafts to go to Britain. But the French police, they can't really do anything because the armed French police shouldn't really be expected to do anything, because what if the the illegals decide to become violent. I mean, they might. How do we know they won't become violent? So the French police, who were there to stop the illegals from crossing, the armed French police, why should they put themselves in harm's way when it's possible that there could be violence? But wait a minute, stop. These people are illegally there and they're violent or maybe violent, and yet you want them as migrants into Britain, violent illegal people. I mean, excuse me. And so again, you look at the framing there and go, wow. Why are they depicting these people as desperately needing asylum when in fact they're in a safe country and have passed through multiple safe countries? Why are the French police allowed to? Well, it's okay if they stand by and do nothing. If they stand by and watch the people smugglers launch the boats and so on, well, it's all right because there might be violence. So the French police can't do anything. Now, then there's a claim that, well, a lot of these things happen at night and the French police can't see what's happening. So they're allowed to not do anything because they don't know what's happening because it's at nighttime and they can't see. And later on in the same documentary, they say they can count how many illegals there are on the beaches by using thermal imaging cameras from helicopters and so on. But they've just said the French police can't see what's happening or don't know what's happening or can't be across what's happening because they can't see because it's dark. But then they have thermal imaging where they can see. I mean, the contradictions in these rather poorly put together documentaries. So if the French made a concerted effort to do a thermal imaging suite with helicopters or drones or whatever, and then direct French police to the areas where they're trying to launch boats or where there are clusters of people, which would obviously be a gathering point, a jump off point for launching of it, and then direct French police there, whether it be through helicopters or other means, then it'd be pretty, if they really wanted to, it'd be easy to stop these people smugglers and then arrest the people smugglers and put them in prison and so on. So the French clearly aren't trying, but the argument is, well, the French would like to try, but violence and so there's nothing they can really do. Well, they don't know, it's dark and we can't expect them to. So again, another flat out lie. So I was looking for any representation that would indicate an accurate depiction of what's going on. But nothing was. I couldn't believe there was that much propaganda. So just going through the headings again, firstly, these people are not refugees escaping oppression or unspeakable harm. They've passed through, again, anywhere between 5 and 12 countries to do this. Most of them have been stirred up by NGO agitators to make the journey, which is a very important point of this. Illiterate peasants living in the middle of nowhere suddenly decide to make thousands of miles of travel across distances they can't even conceive, and they're aided and abetted all the way by a large, very well-funded NGO network to do that. Why isn't that discussed? Why isn't that talked about, that these people were stirred up and specialist NGO agitators were going in to get them to make the journey, and then the vast NGO infrastructure. Wherever they do mention NGOs, it's done with the basis that they're humanitarian. Well, they're helping these desperate people. Have you got a problem with that, you damn fucking Nazi? So instead of saying, well, they're helping people, engage in illegal people smuggling, and they're helping people who've arrived in a country illegally, rather than, why can't they help them by giving them a plane ticket back to where they came from, for example? That would be a whole lot cheaper and would be assisting these people in avoiding the constant law breaking there, and go, no. These illiterate black and brown peasants must come to the West. That's their only hope for salvation, according to these documentaries. That's line number one. Line number two is that these people are staying in France but just simply because they're desperate, and so no, they're not escaping anything. France is a safe country. They're only staying there because the NGOs are funding them and supporting them and providing everything for free. Otherwise, they wouldn't stay. So that doesn't get mentioned. Then the police standing by and doing nothing because they fear violence or some bullshit like that. That's nonsense as well. The French government isn't trying. They're in the pockets of the globalists as much as the British government is. They're all aiding and abetting each other. The people smugglers, why aren't they getting arrested? Somehow, mysteriously, they just don't know who they are. That's bullshit as well. Again, there's no will to do anything about it. It's a globalist project to move all these these brown and black people into the West, and the French government, the French police, and the people smugglers, the NGOs, they're all assisting in the delivery and implementation of that project. So really, the entire now, it was unfortunate that those people drowned. The one media outlet said, "Wow, just too many people got onto the raft. That's all it was. It's no big deal." And it just shows that we need to give these people more rafts. We need to assist their illegality even more aggressively than we are to make sure this doesn't happen. And so they gin up. I don't know. Allegedly, a child was drowned as well. Why were children being brought along on such a high risk venture? I mean, that seems. Why would you travel through 10 safe countries to get to France with a child? I don't understand that. But that's not the fault of the people because they're desperate. It's the fault of those evil white Nazis that aren't making it easier for these people to come to the West and break numerous laws. So the whole framing was it's white people's fault. White people are the cause of the problem. And if we made it easier for these people to break the law, then everything would be fine. So there wasn't. I don't think that there was any attempt. Well, I don't think that there was no attempt to to produce an accurate documentary to state the facts and to say what's actually going on. Everything was concealed. And it was presented just as a fait accompli. These people will keep coming. They must come. They must be allowed to come. They must be helped in coming. And there's simply no other way of looking at it. And that's really summing up the globalist position on the whole matter. You've been fantastic today, your Pushback channel. Thank you for listening.